My name is Hampus, and I'm an RD developer at Configura. I've been working there for about 2.5 years, something like that. Yeah, and I'm going to talk about the different kind of updates we have, important dates, when we post information about them, what kind of information is available, etc. And also when the code is actually merged in the dev environment, so you can see the new changes. Yep. So yeah, CET core is a bit split up between different extension owners or different owners of the different parts. What I'm about to go through is consistent with most part of core. There are some abstracts that diverges a little bit from this, but we are trying to keep a similar structure for all of us, so it should be about the same, shouldn't be that much difference. So the first thing is our major update, and those are always an 05 increase in the version number, so we have the 9.5, the 10.0, etc. You probably know about those. And those can have interface changes and therefore require migration. And then they are staggered, so usually around a week process. So we put a few users at a time until all of them have it. The other ones, the normal patches and hotfixes and all of those, are just instant out to everyone. There is a 2-week migration period, so whenever we release a major, the extensions should migrate within 2 weeks. And also, all users are blocked from updates until they have all of their extensions are in the new official box, so 10.0 box, 10.5 box, etc. It's a biannual release. We have one in November, one in May. They're released on the 3rd Monday each month, and that's the same thing with all of our hotfixes and patches. And then we try to, or not hotfixes, but all of our first day patches and the major releases. They are usually on the 3rd Monday of the month. And you will try to release everything at 9 a.m. Sweden time, so that differs a bit, but that relates to another time zones because summertime and whatnot. But it's either 7 or 8 a.m. UTC time, so it will be like 3 a.m. here, local time. Yes, and then, so for the major updates, we have a feature freeze and a code freeze in core. The period is 10 weeks before the release. We start the feature freeze, and then we stop adding new features, and we start finalizing the migration guide, and it should be pretty much ready for extensions to migrate at this point. The release notes are also being written, and we have our weekly beta builds, but they're not yet published for all externals. And then 6 weeks before we have code freeze, and then we only make critical changes or fixes that are critical. So we try to keep the code base stable and just make sure that we're ready for the release. And then we have an RC candidate 4 weeks before, and at this point we all have the same box, so no more interface changes, and you can just use the same box for all when testing the RCs. The betas will be in a different box for each beta. And then for information for the major updates, you have the migration guide, we have the release notes once it's out, and there will be briefcase posts. So for each beta build, there is a briefcase post in the CT developer briefcase. It gives you the link to the box and also the label in Perforce to get a code. Yeah. And then we have patches. Nowadays, we release quite a lot in patches, so the majors aren't that big anymore. But it's anything that's either features or non-critical bugs. In patches, we never do interface changes, so you shouldn't need, and no migration should ever be needed from extension owners or from extension developers. And we have usually 4 planned patches between each major. So this time we had a patch 0 2 weeks after release, and then a patch 3 is about to go out tomorrow. Yeah. And then, so patches is the same thing. There is one 3rd Monday each month. It's same time, like I said before, 9 a.m. Sweden time. And then we merge the code to the main version XY branch on Perforce the day after release. And the reason for us waiting a day is that if something were to happen, we can back it out without extensions building against this new code. But it should be there the day after release. And we moved the day. Oh, Never mind. We merged the code the day after release, but we moved the label the day after just to make sure that no one has built against this new code if we have to roll back the release. And the same thing here, we have the release notes and briefcase posts. Yeah, same as a major update. And then we have the hotfixes, and those are unplanned. Whenever they are needed, we release them. As soon as we have verified the quality, we release them, and it's released on the same time. We still try to release them at the same time, so 9 a.m. Sweden time. And the same day, we merge the code the same day as it's released, and then we move the label the day after. So it's the same as any patch. And we have some first aids. First aids is pretty much a patch waiting to be tested, kind of. And it's usually it's a patch that's still waiting for a QA, but it could also be something that we made specifically for one user to sort of test something, or for just a specific extension or specific user group to test a new feature or help something, a problem that was only locally for them, kind of. But if there is a critical fix, we will always do a developer briefcase post about it, and then state that which first aid they can download and when it's planned to be released. And it should be the same. The briefcase post should be the same day as when we found the critical issue. But we have some issues here. There have been some delays, so we have had fixed issues that we haven't properly gone out about it. But yeah, that's the idea, is that it should be available from day one. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's kind of quick. So, questions? Yes?
Sometimes when different patches and hotfixes go in, it feels like a lot of debug output is kind of collected. Do we then have to wait for like the next patch or hotfix for that kind of stuff to get taken out?
I mean, the most important thing is to just tell developer support, and if they don't respond, send them more mails, because people miss things. I wasn't aware that it was actually a particularly big issue. I guess it depends. Of course, it's an issue if we miss them, but I didn't know it was that often. But just tell dev support, and we'll try to get it fixed as soon as possible. We're not going to do a hot fix for it, though, so it probably is going to wait for the next patch. But ideally, it shouldn't even happen. It shouldn't be in there in the first place. That's the real fix. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
Can you explain the patch again?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Because the patch, just give some example why you push a patch out and how you push it. Because I saw the post, but the post is not very clear.
Yeah. So are you talking? So patches are the planned ones. We just, whenever we develop stuff, we move it to the patch. If it's a small change, we move it to the closest one. If a bigger one, we maybe move it to the next patch, just to make sure that we can have time to quality control.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, normally there's something wrong, then we patch it. But what I'm saying is that as soon as you do the major release, right, and then you put the patch out again, maybe 2 weeks later, um, the patch, the more or less, I like to know what's in the patch. That's what I'm trying to say.
So if you're strictly talking about core now and core only extensions, so that would be like.
Is it core stuff only, or is that a patch that some other manufacturers send into you, say that okay, there's some cost in our extension or in particular features?
So each extension owner can, of course, they have their own release schedules. I'm talking about core ones, so we have everything on the CMT core or the abstracts, and some customs like Modellab, SketchUp, Revit, those owned by Configura. And we have, like I said, those four planned patches, and those are not just critical fixtures. Those are anything. We're trying to make the major.
So in your opinion, the patch is not necessarily will affect.
No, it can be features.
Extension. In the features, it will affect the features that maybe if my extensions extended from, then it won't affect me, right? Would that be correct?
Yeah, it can. Yeah, if you're dependent upon this core change, it can affect you. Yes.
So in that case, in the future, is it possible that the patch have more descriptions, so we know that because when I look at the patch come through, it doesn't have, oh, this patch is for something, but I'm not really sure because is it affects something that we have or not? That's my question. Is that something that?
So we have the release notes, but that's more from the user's perspective. I guess you want something more like which part of core we have changed.
Yeah, and then I can trace back. Oh, because as a developer, I look over so many
Yeah.
stuff, and I don't know is that I supposed to look at that particular section or not? It's
Yeah, but
supposed
that's
to affect that.
yeah. We can have a more technical kind of release note. So I'm gonna bring that back and we'll see if we can do something about it. Yeah. Thank you. Anyone else? No? Okay then. Thank you.